Let's be honest with each other for a moment. Close your eyes and think back. Think back to that living room, the one with the thick carpet, maybe a big old console TV with the wood paneling. Now tell me, who were you sitting next to the very first time Mary Poppins floated down from the sky holding that umbrella? Was it your mom? Your grandmother? A brother or sister who wouldn't stop singing supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? The next 3 weeks straight? Drop that name in the comments right now. I want to hear it. Because today, we are counting down the top 7 most incredible cast transformations from the 1964 classic, Mary Poppins. And I'm telling you right now, when we get to the number 1 spot, you are going to be absolutely speechless. We're starting at number 7. Number 7. Hermione Baddeley. As Ellen, the Banks family maid. Now, you might not remember her name right away, but the second you see her face, it all comes flooding back. Ellen was the frantic, lovable maid who couldn't keep up with the chaos in the Banks household. But here's what most people don't know. Hermione Baddeley was an absolute powerhouse. This woman was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Room at the Top in 1959. And get this, her performance in that film clocked in at just 2 minutes and 32 seconds. To this day, it remains the shortest performance ever nominated for an Oscar. Ever. She went on to become a household name on American television as Mrs. Naugatuck on the hit show Maude. Hermione passed away in 1986 at the age of 79, but what a life she lived. What a career. Number 6. Ed Wynn as Uncle Albert. Oh, now this is one everyone remembers. The tea party on the ceiling. Uncle Albert, the man who laughed so hard he literally floated up to the rafters. That scene is pure movie magic, and Ed Wynn made it look effortless. But Ed Wynn was already a legend long before Mary Poppins. He'd been performing since 1903, vaudeville, Broadway, radio, television, you name it. They called him the perfect fool, and he lived up to it in the most beautiful way. He even voiced the Mad Hatter in Disney's Alice in Wonderland back in 1951. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for The Diary of Anne Frank. Sadly, Ed passed away in 1966, just 2 years after Mary Poppins was released, at the age of 79. But Uncle Albert's laughter? That's eternal. That floats forever. Now, if you think those stories were something, wait until you hear about number 5. Number 5. Elsa Lanchester. As Katie Nanna. You remember her, the flustered nanny who storms out of the Banks house at the very beginning of the film. The one who quits because Jane and Michael have run away again. It's a small role, but Elsa Lanchester was anything but small. This woman was the bride of Frankenstein. Literally. In 1935, she played the iconic monster's bride, and that image, that wild shock of hair, those wide eyes, became one of the most recognized images in all of cinema history. She was married to the great Charles Laughton for over 30 years. She earned 2 Academy Award nominations across her career, and after Laughton's passing, she threw herself into Disney films. Mary Poppins, That Darn Cat, Blackbeard's Ghost. Elsa passed away in December of 1986 at the age of 84, a true original, from the first frame to the last. Number 4. Glynis Johns. As Mrs. Winifred Banks. And this one hits close to home. If there was ever a woman who could steal every scene she was in with nothing more than a sparkle in her eye and that unmistakable husky voice, it was Glynis Johns. As Mrs. Banks, she marched into our hearts singing Sister Suffragette, and honestly, she made you want to march right along with her. But Glynis Johns was so much more than Mrs. Banks. She had a career spanning over 7 decades. She was the original Desiree Armfeldt in Stephen Sondheim's A Little Night Music on Broadway in 1973, where she introduced the world to one of the most beautiful songs ever written, Send in the Clowns. Sondheim wrote that song specifically for her voice. She won the Tony Award for that role. In her later years, she appeared in films like While You Were Sleeping and The Ref. Glynis celebrated her 100th birthday in October 2023, and then, just 3 months later, on January 4, 2024, she passed away peacefully in Los Angeles. 100 years of brilliance, 100 years of that voice. We were so lucky to have her for as long as we did. Now, we're entering the top 3. And this is where things get truly extraordinary. If you're not subscribed yet, now is the time, because you're going to want to see what's coming. Number 3. Karen Dotrice. As Jane Banks, little Jane Banks, the proper, well-mannered big sister who went on magical adventures with Mary Poppins and her mischievous brother Michael. Karen Dotrice was just 8 years old when she was cast in that role, and she became one of Disney's most beloved child stars overnight. Walt Disney himself took a personal liking to her. She used to call him Uncle Walt. She appeared alongside her on-screen brother Matthew Garber in 2 other Disney films, The 3 Lives of Thomasina and The Gnome Mobile. But here's the thing, Karen chose a different path. After a handful of roles in the 1970s, including a stint on Upstairs, Downstairs, she stepped away from Hollywood entirely in the early 1980s. She chose family. She chose a quiet life. She married, raised her children, and lived on her own terms. In 2004, Disney honored her with the Disney Legends Award. And in 2018, 54 years after the original, she returned for a brief cameo in Mary Poppins Returns. In 2026, Karen Dotrice is 70 years old. She connects with fans through Cameo, sharing heartfelt personal messages that bring pure joy to Mary Poppins fans around the world. She's the last living Banks child, and her grace and warmth have never faded. Now, before we get to number 2, I need to ask you something. And be honest, how many of you, and I mean the ladies and the gentlemen, had a little bit of a crush on Mary Poppins herself when you were growing up? Or was it Bert, the chimney sweep, who stole your heart? Come on, confess in the comments. No judgment here. We're all family. Number 2. Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins. Where do you even begin with Julie Andrews? Mary Poppins wasn't just her breakout role, it was her feature film debut, her debut. And she won the Academy Award for Best Actress for it. Think about that. Your very first movie, and you win the Oscar. The following year, she starred in The Sound of Music, 2 of the most iconic films in cinema history, back to back. From there, she gave us Victor/Victoria, The Princess Diaries, the Shrek films, and in recent years, she's been the voice behind Lady Whistledown in the hit Netflix series Bridgerton, narrating with that unmistakable elegance that only she possesses. In October 2025, Dame Julie Andrews turned 90 years old. 90. And she is still as radiant, as dignified, and as beloved as the day she floated down from the clouds with that parrot-handled umbrella. A PBS documentary titled Julie Andrews Forever aired in late 2025, celebrating her extraordinary life and career. She remains one of the most treasured performers in the history of entertainment. But she's not number 1 today. And I know what you're thinking. If Julie Andrews isn't number 1, then who on earth could possibly be? Number 1. Dick Van Dyke as Bert the Chimney Sweep and Mr. Dawes Sr. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Van Dyke turned 100 years old on December 13th, 2025. Let that sink in. 100. The man who danced across rooftops with chimney sweeps. The man who did a one-man show playing both the lovable Bert and the ancient Mr. Dawes Sr., under layers of aging makeup that fooled audiences for years. The man whose Cockney accent has been lovingly mocked for 6 decades, and who has laughed about it every single time. Dick Van Dyke is not just alive, he is thriving. He still goes to the gym 3 times a week with his wife, Arlene Silver, whom he married in 2012. He published a brand new book in late 2025 called 100 Rules for Living to 100, An Optimist's Guide to a Happy Life. 2 documentaries were released in his honor, starring Dick Van Dyke on PBS's American Masters and Dick Van Dyke, 100th Celebration, which played in theaters across America. In December 2024, at the age of 98, he won a Daytime Emmy Award for a guest role on Days of Our Lives, becoming the oldest person ever to win that award. He starred in a Coldplay music video. He performed with his troupe, Vandy Camp, in Malibu. And in March 2026, he was spotted out in Los Angeles, soaking up the California sunshine with Arlene by his side. When asked about the secret to his longevity, Dick Van Dyke said he simply refuses to give in to the bad stuff in life. He chooses joy, every single day. From The Dick Van Dyke Show to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, from Diagnosis Murder to Night at the Museum, and back to Mary Poppins Returns in 2018 where he danced, yes, danced, at the age of 92. This man is a living miracle. He is a national treasure. He is, quite simply, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And that is why Dick Van Dyke is our number 1. Now, before we go, we need to take a moment, a quiet, respectful moment, because while we celebrate the ones who are still with us, we must also honor those who have left us, the ones whose light will never, ever go out. David Tomlinson, our Mr. George Banks, the man who taught us that sometimes the most important thing in life isn't the job, isn't the bank, isn't the perfectly run household. It's flying a kite with your children. David passed away in the year 2000 at the age of 83. Glynis Johns, our Mrs. Banks, the suffragette with the voice of an angel. She lived a magnificent 100 years and left us on January 4th, 2024. Matthew Garber, our little Michael Banks, the boy who flew kites and had tea on the ceiling and made us all believe in magic. Matthew tragically passed away in 1977 at just 21 years old from pancreatitis. After contracting hepatitis while traveling abroad, he was far too young, far too young. Ed Wynn, Uncle Albert, the man whose laughter made us float. He left us in 1966 at the age of 79. Elsa Lanchester, Katie Nanna, the bride of Frankenstein herself. She passed in 1986, age 84. Hermione Baddeley, Ellen, the beloved maid, also 1986, age 79. Reginald Owen, Admiral Boom, the eccentric cannon-firing neighbor. He passed in 1972, age 85. Rita Shaw, Mrs. Brill, the cook. She left us in 1982, age 69. And Arthur Treacher, the kindly constable. He passed in 1975, age 81. Every single one of them helped build something timeless, something practically perfect in every way, and we carry them with us, always. If you'd like to honor them, type RIP in the comments below. They deserve it. So here we are, friends, 62 years later. And Mary Poppins still has the power to bring us together, right here, right now, in this comment section, just like it brought us together in those living rooms all those years ago. I want to ask you one last thing, and I really do read every single comment, so please share with me. Which cast member's journey surprised you the most today? And if you could travel back to 1964 for just one day, back to that world of rooftop dancing, floating tea parties, and magic carpet bags, what would you want to experience one more time? Tell me your stories. Tell me your memories. Because that's what this channel is all about. It's about us. It's about remembering. And it's about never letting go of the things that made us who we are. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, let's go fly a kite.